Get ready. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Start. Sir, it has been represented to the government that unless the Act is brought into force, persons possessing certain licentiate qualifications and persons who are citizens of India possessing certain foreign medical qualifications which are not recognized under the Indian Medical Council Act 1933 will not be eligible for enrollment on the state medical registers. In the circumstances, government consider that the act should be brought into force further without delay. Already the delay has been too long. As soon as the new act is brought into force, the council constituted under the Indian Medical Council Act 1933 will cease to function, as there is no provision in the new act for continuing the existing council until such time as a new council is constituted under the act. Some time will necessarily have to elapse before a new council can be constituted, as it is not possible to hold fresh elections under Section 3 of the new Act before the Act is brought into force. I should like to inform the House, in reply to the query made by my esteemed colleague Dr. Dubey, that we think that about 6 months' time will be necessary, and that the prolongation of the life of the old council should not be for more than a period of 6 months. As it is desirable that there should be continuity in the existence of the medical council, it is proposed to provide for the continuance of the existing council after the commencement of the new act until the new council is constituted. This will enable the Government of India to enforce the new Act immediately without awaiting the completion of the state medical registers by state governments. The enforcement of the Act will also entitle persons possessing certain licentiate qualifications and citizens of India possessing foreign medical qualifications to registration in the state medical registers. Sir, when this bill was being considered in the Lok Sabha, the members who participated in the debate in that house thought that in view of the fact that the licentiates will get representation under the new dispensation, it should also happen that they get some representation on the Indian Medical Council as it present constituted, so that they need not wait for having their representation in the existing medical council, whose life will expire immediately the new council comes into being. Sir, actually speaking, I feel that perhaps we might have come to the Parliament earlier, but in a matter of this kind, where the cooperation of the states is entirely necessary, we cannot simply ignore their request for extension of time. We therefore waited, but then there comes a time when we wait no longer. I think, sir, it should be defeating the purpose of the new act if we were to wait any longer. Therefore, we have come up with this enabling bill so that the Indian Medical Council as it existed under the old act will get out of existence immediately this bill is brought into force, and that will happen immediately after the present bill receives the assent of the President. Now, I do feel that really there will be no difference of opinion about this amendment, which is absolutely necessary. There was, of course, another alternative which, however, the government did not like. There is provision in the Act saying that nothing done by the Indian Medical Council as constituted under the new Act shall be considered to be what might be called defective simply because the Council is not properly constituted. Under the provisions of that particular section, we could have just been content to go ahead with nominations where nominations are to be made and gone on with the Indian Medical Council. It would not be complete but deficient in respect of the members to be elected on behalf of certain interests. But rather than do that, we thought that it was proper to have the Indian Medical Council in a proper manner to prolong its existence rather than take recourse to an expedient which was not satisfactory. Mr. Deputy Chairman, Sir, nearly a year and 8 months after the passing of the Act, the Health Minister at last comes and puts forward this amendment to the original Act to enforce the original Act. It took nearly 2 years for them just to think to enforcing it. Now, sir, when the original Act was brought before the House in the year 1956, some of the members wanted it to be referred to a select committee, and one of the pleas put forth against it by the then Health Minister was that it might cause some delay if it went to the select committee, that they did not want that delay and they wanted it to be implemented as early as possible. So, reference to a select committee was rejected. It is curious, sir, to find that they have taken nearly 2 years to think of an act.